Amazon sells almost everything on Earth: groceries, gadgets, garden hoses, and somehow also the servers that run half the internet. But here's the strange part. For most of its history, this trillion-dollar company barely made a profit selling any of it. So how does a company get this big while making almost no money? And why are politicians, including a former presidential candidate, now saying it should be broken into pieces? To answer that, we need to follow the money, and it goes somewhere you'd never expect. A few years ago, Senator Elizabeth Warren proposed something radical: split up Amazon, Apple, Google, and Facebook. Her argument boiled down: if a company owns the platform, it shouldn't also be allowed to sell products on that platform. That means Amazon couldn't sell its own Kindle on Amazon.com. Apple would have to choose: keep the App Store or keep Apple Music and Apple News. Whether or not Warren was fully serious, she wasn't the only one asking the question. Around the same time, the EU hit Google with a $1.7 billion fine for anti-competitive behavior. Sprint and T-Mobile were fighting to merge despite heavy pushback. Spotify was publicly accusing Apple of rigging the App Store against it. Everywhere you looked, the same question kept coming up: have tech companies gotten too powerful to leave alone? To understand why regulators are worried specifically about Amazon, you have to understand a business most people never think about, the one quietly funding everything else. Imagine you open a grocery store. Even if you run it well, you're looking at maybe a 2–3% profit margin, if you're lucky. Customers have zero loyalty. Nobody switches stores because they love your produce section. You're just one of thousands of nearly identical options. The only way to actually make money in retail is to get big enough that you can squeeze suppliers for better deals and undercut everyone else on price. But getting to that size usually means years of losing money first, hoping you survive long enough to cash in later. That's the trap almost every retailer faces, except one. Amazon found a way around it entirely, not by being better at selling bananas or batteries, but by funding its retail business with money made somewhere else completely. And that somewhere else is the real reason this company became what it is today.
So if Amazon isn't making its money selling stuff, where's the money actually coming from? The answer is a division most customers never interact with directly: Amazon Web Services, or AWS. AWS started as an internal tool, a way for Amazon to handle huge spikes in web traffic without overbuilding servers it didn't need. Eventually, Amazon realized it could sell that same capability to other companies. Instead of businesses buying and maintaining their own expensive server infrastructure, they could rent exactly what they needed from Amazon and scale up or down instantly. It turned out to be one of the most profitable ideas in the history of the company. Even though most people think of Amazon as a retail company, AWS has generated the majority of Amazon's operating income in some years, more than the entire retail operation combined. In other words, Amazon isn't a store that happens to run some servers on the side. It's closer to a cloud computing company that happens to also sell you paper towels. Here's why that matters. For decades, antitrust law in the US has judged whether a company is harming competition mostly by looking at consumer prices. If prices go up, that's a red flag. If prices stay low, regulators generally assume everything's fine. But Amazon's prices have stayed low, not because retail is efficient, but because AWS profits are quietly propping it up. A competitor without a multi-billion-dollar cloud business can't match those prices and still survive. The customer sees a good deal. The competitor sees an unbeatable, unfair one. This same pattern shows up everywhere in big tech. Apple controls which apps get on the iPhone and doesn't have to play by the same rules as everyone else on its own app store. That's a minor cost for a huge game like Clash of Clans. For Spotify, whose margins are razor thin to begin with, it can be the difference between profitable and not. Amazon does something similar on its own marketplace, using data from independent sellers to compete directly against them. And once you're locked into an ecosystem, iPhone, Prime, whatever it is, switching gets expensive and inconvenient, which makes that advantage even harder to challenge. So is breaking these companies up the answer? It's not that simple. Some of that integration, one company designing your phone, your apps, your cloud storage together, genuinely makes the product better and more secure. Breaking it apart could make everyday life worse, not better. What most experts actually point to isn't a single fix, but a few smaller ones, expanding what regulators count as anti-competitive beyond just price, scrutinizing acquisitions more closely before a giant swallows a promising startup, and accepting that there's no clean, simple answer to a problem this big. Because the real question was never just, is Amazon too big? It's whether we're comfortable with how it got that way, and what happens if nobody's watching the next company doing the same thing.